Willkommen zum neuesten Goldinvest-Interview. Wir sprechen heute mit Alex Klenman, CEO des aussichtsreichen Goldexplorers Nexus Gold. Das Unternehmen konzentriert sich auf Westafrika, genauer gesagt Burkina Faso, und wir wollen uns heute mal die Hintergründe erläutern lassen. Welcome, Alex. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks for having me, Bjorn. I appreciate it.
For those of our audience not as of yet familiar with the story of Nexus Gold, could you give us a short summary of what Nexus is all about?
Right, we're a junior gold explorer, primarily operating in Burkina Faso, West Africa. We like the jurisdiction. We have a team that has had prior success in Burkina, and it's very highly prospective ground with some history behind it, and we like the neighborhood. There's major players in the area. It's a small country, very gold-rich country, and we like our prospects.
Okay, so can you give us a bit more details about Burkina Faso? Who's there? What's the overriding geological structures there?
Well, the Gorum and Boromo greenstone belts come up from Ghana, very rich in gold. There are several multi-million ounce deposits in Burkina Faso and some large players, as I mentioned. Endeavor, IM Gold, B2 Gold, Teranga, Orezone, all big companies, Nord Gold, big Russian company. We're right in the same neighborhood. We've got almost 500 square kilometers of property, and this is a good place for a junior to be. It's ripe for takeovers and buyouts. If you find what you're looking for and establish that resource, we think we get the attention of the majors.
Okay, let's get into that, into those specifics then. You have been doing a lot of drilling this summer, and the latest press release, you talked about 15 kilometers of trend between two of your concessions. Can you tell us what did that tell you? What did you find there, and what's the potential you see?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have the Boobaloo concession, which is 38 square kilometers. It was once a Rocks Gold project. They drilled it. Our chief geologist, Warren Robb, was their chief geologist, so there's no coincidence that we ended up with the property. There's 5 gold zones up at Boobaloo. We grabbed the neighboring concession, which is 250 square kilometers. That's called Rukunga. Between Rukunga and Boobaloo, there's 8 known drill-tested zones. What we wanted to do with the soil grid program was connect the zones at Rukunga with those at Boobaloo. So the 9-kilometer soil grid program shows anomalous gold at surface, and now we've basically extended a trend from Boobaloo down through Rukunga, as you mentioned, beyond 15 kilometers. So sizable footprint. We're excited about that, because now if we can drill it out and prove what's underneath there, then we've got something of size, and that certainly will get some attention.
Size does matter in that respect. Talking about those 2 concessions, now you have a third concession, which I'm a bit afraid to pronounce, Nyangala, where you have been focusing on the Sabre shear zone. Can you tell us about that? Why you're looking at that in particular?
Yeah, Sabkey shear is like the Cadillac break in Canada. It's a major structural fault. There's a lot of gold deposition along the Sabkey. It happens to bisect Nyangala, which we had an early stage high-grade discovery there. We did 26 grams over almost 5 meters, just about 40 meters from surface. Among the first drill holes we put down that came back, we had some very high-grade samples, almost 3,000 gram sample, of 400 gram sample. So that project started out, accelerated, shall we say. But it's a very early stage project compared to Boobaloo and Rukunga, which have had 60, 70 holes drilled. We've only done a dozen or 2 dozen holes up at Nyangala. We're still getting a handle on what the structure is like there and how the deposition works. It's a vein, it's more of a shear vein system. So we're still under early stage exploration there, but the grade is extremely compelling. So we'd like to continue to do the work up at Nyangala, but our main focus will be at Boobaloo and Rukunga.
That's going to be my next question. What is the work you've planned for the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months?
Well, we'd like to continue to develop Boobaloo Rukunga. We feel there's a sizable resource there. Our goal is to bring a 43101 compliant resource estimate to the market in 2019. Hard for me to estimate what that is, but it's certainly, you know, anywhere between 500,000 and 1 million ounces, maybe more. Certainly we've got a 43-101 technical report now up on our website. People can read that. It does not have a resource estimate, obviously, at this point, just a technical report. But we're working our way towards that estimate. We think we can do that in 2019. We can double up on the drills. We can get going a little harder than we have been. We've already spent $2 million in the ground over the last year and a half there. So the development's taking place. Everything we do is contributing to that resource, and we think over the next little while we're going to be back on the ground and we'll be drilling again, and right through the summer of 2019, and we'll see at that point where we are in terms of being able to bring that resource to the market. Exciting times.
So I also noticed that you have the backing of one of the larger gold companies of the spectrum, which is Sandstorm. They have a pretty large stake in Nexus. Can you tell us what that means for you, for the company?
Absolutely. We first and foremost see it as project merit, as project validation. Sandstorm is a streaming royalty company. They've got about 170 clients or companies that they've invested in. Their business model is future royalties, future streaming. So for them to get involved with an exploration company, you have to think that the meter in their mind leans towards probable as opposed to improbable. They're looking for what they think might become a workable mine, and therefore they would extract a 1% NSR. So we went through quite a due diligence process with them. They looked at the projects, they dug into it, and we passed the criteria. They own 17% of Nexus at this point, and we see that as project validation. I mean, they pretty well can put their money anywhere with any companies on the planet. They happen to like West Africa. They're also they've got deals with the Orezone and even Endeavour in Burkina. So that's also a good situation for Nexus. As if in fact we get to where we want to get to with the resource estimate, we'll have some introductions to some other players that might be of benefit for our end game. But we like that. We think that they by going through the due diligence process with Sandstorm, it almost de-risks the project for a lot of retail investors, because their due diligence, their data, and their analytical abilities obviously play in. And we passed, so they made a $900,000 investment in the company, and we're happy about that.
I guess so. But if we're talking about one pretty important thing, which is validation by a major company, but with explorers, management is also very important. Can you give us a bit of background on yourself? And I also noted that you have Ian Stalker as a member of your board. Its name I've come across before. So can you tell us about yourself and the team?
Absolutely. Well, I've been involved with Nexus since the RTO in 2014. I raised most of the capital early on to get the company going. I was the chairman for a couple of years, and I stepped into the president and CEO role earlier this year. There was some management changeover, and we restructured the company, recapitalized the company, and moved forward. My background goes back, I was involved with capital markets all the way back to I hate to tell you, the .com days. I'm that old. But I've been involved mostly on the communications marketing side with companies like Integra Gold and Rocks Gold and other companies, Midnight Sun Mining, several others over the years. But stepping into the forefront of a public company came to me around 2014 and just simply came to be. It wasn't anything I was really planning on doing. Getting Ian involved was, as you mentioned, might also lean towards that validation situation. We were trading very low, we were out of money, and I showed the projects to Ian because I know he knows West Africa. He's been around, he's taken several projects from discovery stage right through PEA into mining stage. He has a long history in West Africa as well. So I showed it to him, and he said, you know, I think I like this. He sat with 6 hours worth of time with Warren Robb, our geo, and came out of those meetings and said, I'd like to get involved. I'd like to step on the board and see if I can help you, which was great because at the time we were pretty beat up. So there's really nothing for Ian to gain and everything to lose by getting involved with a beat up company. But we've turned it around, and having Ian and someone with his experience to help guide us and get us from discovery stage or early stage to PEA is important. And I think having him involved is a great benefit to our shareholders and certainly a good thing for the company.
Okay. So, in order not to get the interview too long, let's sum it up. Where's the potential in Nexus Gold, and in your personal opinion, of course, and where would you like to be in the next, say, 6 to 12 months?
Well, if we do what we say we're going to do and we stick to our plan, we'll bring a compliant resource to market in 2019. We'll have 50 million shares or less out in terms of structure. We think that bodes well. If you can come to market with a sizable resource in a country like Burkina with all those major players and do it with a structure like that, we think there might be a premium placed on us in terms of a buyout, in terms of a takeout. And we'd be prepared to go through PEA and right to mining stage. That wouldn't be a problem, but obviously what we'd like to do is establish that resource and see where the chips fall. We know having an asset in the ground, particularly in a better gold market where gold bugs, we always believe it's around the corner. I happen to think it is. I have been saying that for some time. Gold's not behaving like it normally does, but it always seems to. Fundamentals come into play. So we're going to continue to stay on the path we're on. We're going to bring a resource to market, and hopefully we'll do that in the third quarter of 2019, if not close to that. And with 50 million shares out, we kind of like the way that sets up.
Okay. Thank you very much. Certainly sounds like an interesting situation. We'll be sure to check on later how it's been going.
I appreciate it, Bjorn. Thank you so much.